Roger Stone here. Every day you wait, your money loses value, but gold and silver don't follow those same rules. American Sovereign Bullion gives you access to a nationwide wholesaler network, helping you secure aggressive pricing on real physical metals. Call 844-272-2428 now to get your free gold and silver guide to learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver, delivered right to your door or with a gold IRA. Visit asbgold.com. That's asbgold.com for your free gold and silver guide today.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the Soul of Excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
Theft. Stop domestic violence. They're not there to do the federal government's bidding.
So Governor Kathy Hochul also said that President Trump promised her before that he wouldn't just flood New York with ICE agents, that he would ask her first. But if you ask Border Czar Tom Oman, he says he doesn't need her permission.
Well, Governor Hochul, I'm not asking either. I said it, we're going to do it. No, she wants to sign legislation. She supports this legislation it's going to lock us out of jails.
Okay, I want to go through these changes. It's important to point these out for people watching. This year's budget will include these new sanctuary-style laws, like blocking local police from working with ICE on basic civil immigration cases, protect information on your immigration status if you live in the state, allow lawsuits against federal agents, kind of like what we saw was happening out in Minneapolis, and then ban agents from wearing masks, which we know is a sticking point when it comes to ICE. So DHS says Dems are protecting migrant criminals. They point these cases out. Since April, the agency is talking about illegal immigrants tied to several violent crimes.
Yes, my friends, the battle goes on. New York State has supposedly a budget that they don't have because Assembly people and others are saying, no, we didn't come up with a deal. And in that deal, Kathy Hochul and Democrats in New York say, no, the federal government, now you can't wear masks if you're ICE agents. You can't come in public places. You can't. I don't know how many times you have to go over the same point. In this country, America, states don't control the federal government. They don't rule over the federal government. They don't make laws over the federal government. It's called supremacy. And not in the context that most people in the Democrat Party use it. It means federal law supersedes state law. So everything that they're talking about is just nonsense. And Democrats are doing this all over the country. They're coming up with these, we're not going to let ICE do this. No, man. They have no control. Now, what does need to happen, I've been saying this, welcome, by the way, it's the Thursday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. What I have been saying for decades now is that we actually need to have this matter come before the Supreme Court once and for all and just stop it. Just rule all of these sanctuary cities illegally. They should be illegal anyway. I don't know why this hasn't happened already. That this case goes to the Supreme Court on one of these sanctuary laws, make sure that they all understand it, and then when you have state officials and governors trying to interrupt the federal government, toss their asses in jail. Just make it simple. Just put them in jail and stop all of it. Tom Homan, as you heard from that report, look, we've got a lot to do. I want to get into L.A. The L.A. debates were on fire last night. Spencer Pratt lit it up. California governor's debate. We have that. But there are some other things. There's a lot going on with Iran. You know, I haven't spent all that much time on Iran because I think it needs to be in depth. I'm just going to say this now about, yes, he's jumping all over the place, but I'm going to say this about Iran. I think we may have a deal coming up within the next week, 2 weeks. However, I think that there will be a lot of questions asked Lily Bonnick's there, so I can just include everybody. I think a lot of questions are going to be asked about the nature of the deal, because it appears to me, with what I'm reading, that Iran will still have control of the Strait of Hormuz. In fact, Iran has formed a new agency. They've already sent out letters indicating that in order for shippers to get past the Iranians, they're going to have to comply. What is unknown is whether there will be tolls or not. Now, the United States has a 14-point plan with Iran that is being discussed right now, waiting for an answer. That answer is going to be delivered through Pakistan to the United States of America. But it appears to me, and this is, I think, a question that the administration's going to have to ask. You know, you've been telling us that Iran is done. They have no military. They have nothing. If Iran is done, why are they still in position to dictate anything? And I think that simple question is going to have to be asked. Iran apparently has political might and political strength, and I think it's going to have to be explained to the American people at some point, if a deal is reached, why Iran still, if they are granted control over the Strait of Hormuz, and thereby control over the levels of oil, the free flow of oil, what did the world get? I am not being critical of the administration, and I want to make that clear. I think that Iran, it's very similar to what I think about Democrats, long overdue. Iran has been at war with the United States, and I have said this for decades, for 47 years. Well, I haven't said 47 years, because for decades I've been saying they've been in a state of Cold War with the United States of America, and sometimes that war has heated up as the days when we were engaged in Iraq, and they were killing American servicemen with their IEDs and with the acts of terror that they were fomenting around the world. So I am not one of these people that believes that it is a wasted effort trying to rein in Iran. I just am concerned for the administration, concerned that if there is a deal reached, and Iran still looks like they have won what many people wouldn't consider to be legitimate spoils of war, how that's going to play out. And I think they need to answer those questions and get ahead of the curve on Iran. Okay, back to New York before we head out west. Hochul, all these others go on with it. This business, we have a budget and we're anti-ICE. Tom Homan was on with Laura Ingraham the other night, and this is cut 3. This is what Homan said with Laura.
Mr. Homan is that Donald Trump himself said he would not send a surge of ICE agents to the state of New York unless I ask. I'm not asking.
Tom, she says she's not asking, so essentially butt out.
Well, Governor Hochul, I'm not asking either. I said it, we're going to do it. You know, she wants to sign legislation. She supports this legislation it's going to lock us out of jails. It's going to end 287G agreements. And it's going to prevent us from arresting a criminal alien in safety and security of a jail. We have partnerships in New York, throughout the state. Not everywhere, but she wants to end the partnerships we currently have, which means now we got to send a whole team to look for a criminal that we could have arrested in the safety and security of a jail, which is safer for the officers, safer for the alien, certainly safer for the community. So you're forcing us into the neighborhoods to find this person, which means since we lost the efficiencies of the jails that you want to lock us out of, now we got to send a whole team out there to find this person. So of course we're going to increase manpower a lot. And not only that, she says she wants to protect the migrant communities. Really? Because now we arrest an illegal alien. We can't rent a bed from any of the sheriffs in New York State. So what are we going to do? We're going to arrest that illegal alien. We're going to fly them to Texas, Arizona, to one of the detention facilities there, away from their families, away from their attorneys. This is what we have to do because she forces us in this position. And we're going to do it. They're not going to stop us. They can put all the roadblocks they want, but we're going to do this job.
So this war that Kathy Hochul is having, this PR war that she's having with the federal government, because that's all it is. She has no authority over the federal government. She's going to lose this little PR battle, and what they're trying to do is inflame people ahead of the midterms. They want the protest in the street. I don't want to believe that they want to see what happened in Minnesota happen in New York, meaning the loss of life. But let's face something. The Democrats have used that loss of life to rally their voting base. So I don't think it would be, I don't know. I would hope that they are better people than that. But given what we have seen, all I'm saying is they want confrontations in the street. They want confrontations. They want confrontations in the street over enforcing federal law, I believe, because there are politicians who believe that is the fastest way for them to mobilize their base ahead of the midterm elections. We also have Mandami, if we have time for it, the continuing battle with Ken Griffin. We may have to hold that. We have Vivek Ramaswamy, who won his primary in Ohio. He's saying there are too many layers of government there. He wants to reduce them. And we have so many things of interest, but I want to get to the L.A. debates very quickly and the gubernatorial debates. So when we come back, we shall do that. We'll take a look at what's happening on the left coast of America. And when we finish that, we also have the governor's race out there and the gubernatorial debates. Wow, sparks were flying. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media continues.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Oh, Snerdley.
Sacco and Felix, New York and New Jersey's premier attorneys at law. Their team brings decades of experience across a wide range of practice areas. Whatever life brings, they're your legal team. From everyday matters to complex cases, they've got you covered with the experience you need and the results you want. Because when life gets complicated, they make it simple. SaccoFilas.com. SACCOFILLAS.com. 2 C's, 2 L's.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Ad Council.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
People were wondering, should the candidates next of you have apologized to you that you did lose your home, that you basically lost everything in the Palisades fire? We start there because this is what brought you to this campaign, Spencer.
I didn't come here looking for apologies. I've not gotten one from anybody in the city for, 16 months, so it's not surprising. I didn't think they would. If they apologize, it admits their failures. And I'm up here because of their failures. That's the only reason I'm running, because I said enough of these failures. We need an outsider. No more politicians, no more lying. We need the truth. People are done with the lies.
James Golden, Snerdley with you. That was Spencer after the debate. Spencer Pratt, who has just come out of nowhere. His ads are brilliant. And now let's turn to, while we have some time, one, I think, of the key exchanges in the Los Angeles mayoral debate last night. That would be 15. And this, my friends, is classic.
Robin acts like she doesn't have any authority with this homelessness. She was the third most powerful person in city council. She runs the homeless housing thing. She acts like this is just Mayor Bass. First off, inside safe. I like to say inside safe makes all of us outside unsafe. The reality is no matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. they are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Nithya, Councilwoman Robin's plan for treatment first, I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth. These ideas cost us over $400 million to house for 70, what did you say? 3,000 people for $400 million is an absolute failure for both of them. They're a team.
So, Councilmember Rahman, you have 30 seconds to respond.
I want to just say to everybody who's watching today, you're going to watch today as Mayor Bass and Spencer Pratt attack me because they want to run against each other in the general election. Each of them thinks that running against each other is what's going to help them win. And they don't want to run against me because my ideas, which are based on real results in my district, which are based on real data, a real analysis of the system, and a focus on accountability and using every dollar as effectively as possible, which we have done in my district. I want to take this citywide. This is why this is happening today.
Councilmember Rahman, we're out of time. I'm going to give each of you 30 seconds to respond to this. Mr. Pratt, I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to go to Mayor Bass.
First off, Mayor Bass and I are definitely not working together. I blame this person for burning my house and my parents' house and my town and all my neighbors down. I am not working with Mayor Bass. Second off, if I wanted to run against anybody, it would be the council member who is terrible. Mayor Bass has at least been a mayor for almost 4 years and has, as she talked about earlier, all the unions endorsed Mayor Bass. You think it's easier to run against the incumbent mayor with all the unions or a random city council member who's been a failure for 6 years? I would much rather run against Councilwoman Rahman. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pratt. So,
boom! That was beautiful. They want to run against me. I don't want to run against. I would rather run against you. You're just some random council member who has no track record except failure. This guy lit it up last night. Now, the pundit class is different than the voters of L.A. The pundit class that looked at this L.A. debate are saying this guy walked away with it. The voters will ultimately decide who walked away with it. But he served himself well. For sure.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
James Golden, Snerdley with you here. Let's run through a few more of these. I'm going to have to hold some until Saturday because I want to touch on other things today. That one that we heard from Spencer Pratt going up against Councilwoman, I always want to call her like those noodles. What's the name of those noodles that everybody likes? The ramen noodles. Yeah, ramen. And then and Mayor Bass. Now they were also asked about the drug needles. You know, California gives away crack pipes, needles, all kind of stuff. They give it to addicts. They just like here. It's just unbelievable. What they do to make sure that the people can stay on drugs. And so they were asked about that during the debate. Cut 17. This is the question on California using taxpayer dollars to fund giving needles and pipes and whatever other paraphernalia to drug addicts.
Langer's Deli, which, as you all know, is a staple of downtown Los Angeles, is asking all of you on the stage right now to end the needle run giveaway program. So my question, Mayor, first of all to you, yes or no? It's run by the city run needle program.
Right.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Councilmember Rahman?
No.
Mr. Pratt?
Absolutely no needles and pipes for drug addicts on the street ever.
Got it. I'll take that as a yes.
Sorry.
So the mayor says to electorate, she's been in charge. She said, oh, yeah, we're going to end it. She's been the one giving it out. If she understood the question. Now, last one, and then we'll move to the governor's one. We have a longer one I'm going to have to hold till Saturday. It's brilliant, but it's 5 minutes. We're not going to do that right now. Spencer Pratt, cut 18, and this is self-explanatory.
We needed a mayor 3 years ago that was going to Sacramento and fighting the governor to get uncapped tax credits. We need post-production tax credits. And Councilwoman Rahman will tell you, my husband's a producer, blah, blah, blah. The reality is she's been in power for 5 years. Now, all of a sudden, she has these tweets and these posts, and she's doing Substacks. Both of these people have been the reason why there's no more Hollywood. Not to mention, even if they do, these things, we're still going to have drug addicts all over the street because they're treatment first, open beds, not mandatory treatment. Do you know I talked to producers? They have to pay gang members right now to keep the streets safe, to go film anything on the streets of LA. So absolutely no, these two politicians have failed Hollywood times 1,000.
Boom. Now, Hollywood, hey, L.A., this is hometown. This is where the money came in, except from illegal immigration. Let's move over to the governor's race out there. The first question up, they asked Chad Bianco, who's the other Republican that's running, besides Steve Hilton, if he would continue spending money on the $30 billion now high-speed train that was supposed to go from San Diego all the way up to San Francisco. Now they've just made it a little train line, and it costs like 3 or 4 times more. Not a single piece of track, not one choo-choo train running. They asked Chad, will you continue it? Cut 20. This is what that exchange sounded like.
Everybody has an opinion about this. You don't need to go into detail. It'll cost another $30 billion to finish California high-speed rail from Merced to Bakersfield. We've got the viaduct laid. We have overpasses. Do you finish it? Yes or no? Mayor Villaraigosa?
Yes.
Congresswoman Porter?
Yes, if you can build it faster and cheaper than it's been projected.
Okay. Sheriff Bianco?
No, I would rather arrest the people that stole our money.
All right.
Boom. Katie Porter. Again. Let's do these back-to-back. Katie Porter on taxes and on her temperament. 22 and 23.
Congresswoman Porter, your response in terms of your tax plan.
Yeah, look, I think all taxes should be progressive. And I think that is a core principle. And families get this. When they get a bonus, when they earn a little more, they trip up into a different tax bracket and they have to pay more. That's all I'm suggesting we do for corporations. And by the way, not only would that say to the corporation that has a banner year and makes $1 billion, you pay not the same rate. Maybe you pay a tiny bit higher rate so that we can provide tax relief for families earning less than $100,000. I can't believe that on a stage with 30 minutes of interrupting and bickering and name-calling and shouting and disrespect for everyone up here who's stepping into public service, that anyone wants to talk about my temperament.
You were actually interrupting them, too. I don't know why you want to act like you weren't.
Oh, cowboy
Steve and I sat here smiling at each other because we're just watching you all prove to everyone why they can't vote for a Democrat.
Exactly.
Oh, cowboy up cupcake. Even as she's criticizing the... Now, one last one. This was a moment of the night. I wish you could see the stare that she gave Bianco at the end of this. Is cut 21. Again, self-explanatory.
Got to enforce the existing sanctuary laws everywhere so we don't have crazy cowboys taking the law into their own hands.
Tell that to a crazy mother who lost her child.
Sir, I don't need any lectures from you about being a mother.
Of course, you might.
Okay.
Whoa. Boom. Again, line of the night. They were also asked, California's in a situation where they may only have 4 to 6 weeks left of oil to run their city. Cars. gasoline. They've driven the refineries out of town. Oil, gas prices are extremely high. It's a nightmare in California. Okay, let's switch gears. I want to play something and try to explain this. Cut 10. This is a Fox News report on the recent Supreme Court ruling in Louisiana. Cut 10. And this is, and Alito came out and responded to Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent, which he said was just disrespectful. He really hammered her. Fox News reported on it. This is what that sounded like.
And Justice Alito is making a point. He's responding to Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent, where she's complaining that the Supreme Court is allowing Louisiana to go forward with redrawing its map, which is completely consistent with the decision that came down last week, where they found that the redistricting had been unconstitutional, right? And so normally there's this 32-day period that happens after a Supreme Court authors a decision before it's sent back to the lower court to basically deal with the ramifications of what they decided. And because the congressional elections are obviously coming up, the governor had already delayed them. The Supreme Court here said, look, we decided we're not reconsidering this. You can go ahead and we're going to bypass the 32 days. Well, Ketanji Brown Jackson is very upset about that. And so Justice Alito points out in that footnote, hey, as a reminder to you and, by the way, the world, we decided this 7 months ago. So the question is, why did he put it in there?
Good question.
And we don't know, but there are two possibilities, right? One could be that the liberal wing of the court, who did not agree with the majority in this decision, were slow walking their dissents. Unfortunately, perhaps in an attempt to impact the upcoming elections. But there also could be the conservative justices may have had some differing opinions on how exactly they wanted to go about this, and so they could have been discussing
You know what
that.
I think we're going to have to wait and read the book.
Well, Molly, I want one point on that, Bill, really quickly, is Molly Hemingway wrote a book on Justice Alito recently, and in her reporting in that book, she says that the liberal wing of the court slow-walked their dissents in the Dobbs decision, despite the violence and things that were happening.
Okay, let me just explain this really quickly. All right, it all sounds confusing. Usually, after the Supreme Court makes a ruling like they did in Louisiana, they give a grace period before the states, then they send out instructions to the states. This time they passed it by. So let's get right to it, because we had elections coming up in Louisiana. So they let the state act on the decision. They said, we're not going to change our mind. It's fine. We're not going to do the grace period. Just go ahead and act on it. Ketanji Brown Jackson had a fit, wrote a nasty dissent, and so in his response to her angry dissent over their action to just let Louisiana go, she tried to tear the Supreme Court and doing the usual, you're a bunch of, whatever, stuff. He let it be known, we decided this case 7 months ago. And that's what all this is about. The Democrats, apparently, the liberal wing of the court, held up. It took them 7 months to write a dissent. No, they wanted this to come. The best timing of it politically is what is being speculated here. So we have that. Very interesting. We very rarely get an inside view of the quote-unquote politics that are of the decision-making. This is a window in. Today, in our last segment, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to play what I will call the clip of the day. I've been saving this one. I will give you a hint. It's from another young progressive. But this progressive is a preacher man. But it is the clip of the day. James Golden. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Rush. This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Snerdley.
Rush.
Now, here's James Golden.
My friends, there is a cut every day that stands out above all of the other clips that we have. Today, in my mind, this one is the clip of the day, the cut of the day. James Tallarico, as many of you know, beat out the mouth, the hair. You know, you remember when Jasmine Crockett threw her hair into the political ring and was going to be the next Texas, running for Texas Senate? That didn't work so well. This kid, James Tallarico, who is a preacher. He's a pastor. He beat her out. Well, we have one of Mr. Tallarico running for the Senate on the Democrat side, one of his latest rants delivered from the pulpit. And this is what Mr. Tallarico told his congregants.
This current cost of living crisis is the culmination of 50 years of trickle-down economics. 50 years of the top 1% rigging this economic system and this political system for their own benefit at our expense. Young people can't afford to buy a home, but Jeff Bezos has 12. Young people can't afford to fill up their gas tank, but Mark Zuckerberg is launching helicopters from his mega yacht. Young people pay more than their fair share of income taxes, but someone like Elon Musk can get away without paying a penny. All of this has left your generation disillusioned.
Now, let's go over something very quickly. Trickle-down economics, what he's saying, what the Democrats love to use that, supply-side economics, is the idea that if you don't overtax a society, that money flows throughout the economy. It has worked. We had the biggest expansions of the American economy under Ronald Reagan, under Margaret Thatcher, who was at the same time implementing the same kind of thing over in the UK. We had a world that boomed because of it, the economies. It has worked every time it's tried. He's blaming this without understanding any of implications of supply-side economic and how it's benefited. You know who was also a proponent of supply-side economics? John Kennedy. And he had a very simple phrase for it that remains part of the political nomenclature. He said, the rising tide lifts all boats. A rising tide lifts all boats. When the economy is rising, everyone benefits. Really simple. Then he goes on, this guy, Tallarico, to pick on, let's see, Jeff Bezos. How many jobs has Jeff Bezos created? How many jobs has Amazon created around the world? We're talking about tens of thousands. Look in your neighborhood as the Amazon trucks go by. And then what he's acquired. Look at all the jobs from Whole Foods. You don't even see all the jobs underneath Amazon Web Services because they're invisible to the naked eye that's not in the business. We're talking about a move. He has created jobs, created commerce. Yes, people from small business will tell you that they have lost their jobs too. But when you look at the net, created jobs. Look at Zuckerberg. How many jobs has Facebook created? How much commercial activity? Just think about Marketplace. Go there. Look at that. Even Facebook even creates jobs for scammers. Somebody's scamming my name right now, begging for money, claiming to be me on Facebook. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, they put a picture of you apparently up they just create an account and pretend to be you, steal your picture, and then go beg your friends for money. It's ridiculous. But how many jobs, even for scammers, has Facebook created? And activity. Elon Musk, SpaceX, Tesla, his work with robotics, how many thousands of jobs? How has he benefited society? And what has James Tallarico done? He sits and he runs his mouth. That's what he does. And uses the pulpit to go on a class envy, jealousy war from the pulpit. Unbelievable. That is why that's the clip of the day. 1939, Jimmy Ruffin was born. Heavenly birthday for him. Elder brother of David Ruffin from The Temptations, and this was his big hit back in 1976. Wait a minute. When was this? 1974. This was on the charts. We got to go. We're going to find that clip of the day every day. I'm going to find something. May God bless each and every single one of you, your family, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, for your being here with me, allowing me to be with you. God willing, we're back for the I can't believe it's already Friday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour tomorrow. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.